Hey, look at that. We're drawing. We're drawing! We're back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm drawing. Okay, we kill that. And what the hell am I doing? So, hey folks, I'm back. I'm gonna be drawing, gonna be re-inking Nightwing for watercolor painting with waterproof ink. Basically, I've already done the line arts. I do those live. It's here on the channel. Here they be, drawn and inked. I've then scanned these in, removed the blue, all that other stuff, and printed them back out at 25% opacity on the same paper, Canson Mixed Media XL. It's 14 by 17. I trim it down to 11 by 17. Print it back out, 25% opacity. Then I got to redraw it again using waterproof ink. All the materials you need to know are in the description below. I've just put them down there, so if you want to know what paper I'm using, if you want to know what ink I'm using, it's all down there. Good to go. So we don't have to go there no more. Yeah, so I did this video last night about crediting artists, you know? It's in response to this guy on Instagram. And it got 2 thumbs down. Like, that's the best. Like, people actually thumbs down giving artists credit for their own work. It's amazing, actually. It's got to be that guy and his friends all pissed off at me that I took the conversation public, but that's how I do it, folks. I don't have conversations in private email messages and shit unless you're an employer. If you ain't an employer, then don't contact me because I'm going to bring the shit public. It's pretty much simple. The internet isn't private. The NSA can read everything I write, then there you go. All right, so I'm going to grab my pen here. Yeah, it's my ink pen. So I'm not going to ink the hair because that I'm going to paint. I'm going to leave that open. Get in there, brush. So I'll probably just start off somewhere easy. Well, maybe not. Easier. Oh, fuck it. Let's just... This is start in the center because I run the risk of smudging this stuff if I'm not careful. It's okay to ask questions, Garland. Go right ahead. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Did you have anything specific in mind? Does it matter how long an art piece is finished? Matters if you get a deadline, you know? Um, yeah, it's complicated. Ultimately, I would say no. I think if you're looking to get speed down, then obviously it's because, you want to be able to do things over and over again in a certain time frame. The thing that was taught to me by comic book artists growing up, going to Comic Con, people like Dave Sim, McFarlane, they used to tell me get good, they can get good and fast. You know, I think it's good to give yourself a deadline on certain things, if it's personal art, just to see what you can do in a certain amount of time. However, no one's going to be like, oh, you did that in 40 minutes? Okay. They just care if it's awesome. Ultimately, whether you took an hour or 6 hours, if it ain't awesome, what does it matter? You know? I mean, some of my covers, I don't get paid much, dude, to do those covers. But I put in the yeoman's work because as far as I'm concerned, a cover should sell a book, period. You know? So, it should be a poster, as far as I'm concerned. That being said, don't just keep adding more work for yourself so you can impress yourself. Gotta find what your natural rhythm is. Like drawing a bunch of packs and belts and stuff like that on these characters, that doesn't take me very long. It's just something that I can like do, you know. So, and if a character doesn't need it, I'm not gonna add it. Like when I add a bunch of packs and belts to a Pokemon, right? What I might do is add a lot more Pokemon because a bunch of Pokemon looks better than one Pokemon. So then it would be like, well, how long did it take me to do it? Well, I mean, how long it took? How long should it have taken? It's something I'm becoming less and less concerned with, as long as I meet the deadline. And I'll be honest with you, between all us here on the internet, I saw between us, uh, they rarely need their art by whatever deadline they give you. You know, sad to say. You'll turn art in and that shit won't ship for a month sometimes. That Princess Leia cover I did, they had to have it the week of the 18th. And I knew they just wanted it because the Star Wars movie. They wanted to show off during, but that thing still hasn't printed yet, you know? The actual magazine. So go figure. Now, something like Game Cave, where I have a lot of interior art, I am getting that down to this many hours per something, because that's about volume, not an individual piece. I think things that should sit on your wall should have enough into them to make you want to look at it repeatedly. I mean, if you train at a high level all the time, when you go to do small things like sketches in people's books, commissions, like in conventions and stuff, and you don't have to try as hard and it's going to be easy. It'll still look good. I worked, I did like the test piece on this right here. I inked this whole half of this body again, three different ways, trying three different ways to color it so it would look good, and settled on a process that I could repeat, you know. And then after that, I don't worry about it. Sometimes people ask me, like like I did the power prints, right? People are asking me, how long till this one's done? I'm like, I get to it next, and it'll be done as soon as it's done. You know, I'll be responsible. I'm not gonna take all year here, but if I need a full, I got these big X-Men pieces coming up. They got 20 characters per. I gotta draw it. I gotta have Brandon do all the flats, and then I have to color it. That could be a full 2 weeks. You know, per each piece is 2 pages wide, so it can be a full 2 weeks to get each part done. The drawing 1 week, coloring the next week. You know, that being said, worth the effort. These watercolors, the thing that changed my mind about trying to rush this watercolor shit is when I actually started hanging out with real watercolor artists. They take months. Sometimes those watercolor artists let their shit sit on a mantle for a week or three, just staring at it before they decide to make another. And we're talking like pineapples, pears, So speed is only because Marvel and DC, those companies, they got deadlines, so they train you to do it really fast. So hasn't helped their industry any. Put it that way. I don't see more people buying comic books because they got out quicker. So I don't know. Find out how long it takes you to do something well, and then keep going down that path until you get better at it. Then it'll get faster. Cabinery of the Iron Fortress. No, I'm new on that one, man. Is that a Is that a movie or is that a series coming out this spring, or did it already come out? As for the appeal of steampunk, I don't know. I mean, steampunk it really isn't. It matters. The visual is almost unimportant. It's the story. So Attack on Titan could have been steampunk, as long as it was the same story. It could have been sci-fi, as long as it was the same story. You know, I think things that are steampunk need to get past the art style and just tell a really good story. I think the problem with steampunk is that it's like it's Star Wars, but it's steampunk. Well, that doesn't, you know, it's just an aesthetic. Sounds cool though. Hard to figure out what's going to be the next big thing though. You know, not too many Attack on Titans come around, right? Not too many Full Metal Alchemists. So it's really going to depend upon the writing, and then if the animation is pretty badass. I will check it out, man. Hey, what's up? Immor Immortuisis? Immortuisis. Attack on Titan was I'll check it out. I'm still waiting for what's his face to finish the Evangelion movies, man. He had to go and make that Godzilla film. That personally I could care less for, but oh yeah. Haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah, I'm hoping Studio Trigger gets to making something other than that crappy Flash anime. You know, I love Little Witch and Kill La Kill so much. That weird ninja thing was just weird. Nice. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of One Punch rewatching for the recap shows that we're doing. Lots of little details hidden in that anime if you really pay attention. No, no, I'll be doing some more stuff, man. This stuff right here was picked by a lot of the people in the Power Prints. Um, so I'll be doing some Final Fantasy 9, a little bit more Japanese, and then I have some Dragon Ball Z. And then once I'm completed all that stuff, believe me, I'll be doing more. You know, I just haven't had the available time the last few years to be doing a lot of fan art. You know, so I had to do what when I go to a con, most people aren't going to buy. You know, they're going to want a Batman versus a Full Metal. However, I watch anime more. I don't read comics. Like I just don't. I watch anime. So like I like these characters because I grew up with them, and I like the video games an awful lot, like Arkham Knight and stuff like that in the movies. But I don't read many comics anymore. So I definitely got some Full Metal planned. I'll be doing some One Punch. I'll do my take on Evangelion at some point. But they definitely got me signed up for a Dragon Ball piece. So that'll be the first in a while. Last time I think I did straight anime was Claymore, but that was for the actual DVD release when I was working at Play. So yeah, I'll be doing more, man. I want to do Kill La Kill, Gurren Lagann, fucking Nichijou. I gotta be the only guy in the world, but I'm gonna do one because I love Nichijou. Sword Art, at least the first season. So what I'll do is I'll just work in, I'll work it in, and be like, okay, here's this piece, that piece, this piece. I actually wanted to do an Attack on Titan set this time, but I let them choose this time. I was like, okay, look, I want to do Attack on Titan set. What do you guys think? And then it was like Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, What was the other one? Power Rangers, which is a big piece. Dragon Ball Z. It's a good question. What was 1, 2, 3? It's a good question. I don't remember the other one. Luckily, I could just go back on the Kickstarter and look. Power, power, power. Print list. Updates. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Power Rangers, which is 2 prints wide. Dragon Ball Z, 1 print, big group piece. Kingdom Hearts was the other one. And a Battletoads. That's what they voted on. But I guarantee you the next time I do it, the first set will be my choice, and it will feature anime, probably exclusively. I could even see 2 sets, like one being random, like group shots, and then one just being on Attack on Titan, like a digital piece that goes 2 prints wide, and then some sauces. Here's the thing, man. You know, like, uh, I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man at all. Like the first one, so I didn't bother seeing the second one. And, you know, I like Man of Steel, so if you didn't like Man of Steel, you're probably not gonna like Batman v Superman, regardless of how many characters are in it. Because there's a million characters in the Lord of the Rings movies, and they worked out just fine. I don't think, long as everyone doesn't get an origin story, it's fine, you know. Or in the case of the Amazing Spider-Man movies, just a really weird. They didn't know what the tone. They never had the right tone with those Amazing Spider-Man movies. Even the first film is weirdly inconsistent. Like you see that scene where Peter Parker is looking at the internet to find out what happened to his parents, and they say they died in a plane crash, and then later on in the movie he's like, "What happened to my parents?" They, and they're like, "They died in a plane crash, remember?" And he didn't know who the lizard guy, Dr. Connors, was, and yet he's looking at the internet because he wasn't looking at the internet. That was like something they added in post. The films just didn't know what they wanted to be. Then the henchman guy disappears halfway through the movie, gets out on the bridge, and you never see him again. Like it was supposed to be, those Amazing Spider-Man movies were supposed to be low budget, $80 million films with practical effects. He was supposed to really be swinging, and it just they just didn't go that way. Halfway through it, they threw in all this budget and big whatever. So, but I like Man of Steel. So, yes, I do use Copic markers. I have plenty of examples of that up. Matter of fact, if you look on the YouTube channel, I just did a Spectre commission, and you could see there's like it's like 5 parts where I do the whole thing in Copics in real time. I'll be making speed videos again really soon. Matter of fact, the one I already did was the one I did last year, which is a Han and Chewie I did in Copics, and it's already made up. I just have to do audio commentary, and that's going to come up sometime this week or next week. Yes, I do use Copics. I have way too many of them. Matter of fact, I got it right here. So this is the Copic marker, Spectre piece. I got lots of videos on how to use them, tips and stuff too. If you have any questions when you get them, let me know. My advice is to draw something separate and then color a copy of your lines. Like I print my stuff back out in, like, see the lines are separate, and I color a copy. This way, if you goof up, you don't ruin your art. I definitely want to do some Attack on Titan saucies. One of the sets I'm going to be doing is a Darksiders set that's Copic markers. I determined to nix the multi-liners. Well, for this part, absolutely. Whether I nix them for the line arts, I don't know, because there isn't much of a difference in line quality, and it would be faster. Maybe an hour or two faster. So I might be going back to multi-liners just for the black and white. But in terms of like this waterproofing ink that I need to use when I do the saucy, I can't do this with multi-liners. I've tried it with the Copic colored ones; they don't work. This ink works really, really well with that process. But we'll see. I'm pretty comfortable. I mean, I'm telling you, what I'm doing right now isn't that different from using the multi-liners. It's virtually the exact same. You know. The only thing I can say is that drawing circles is easier with the multi-liner because you can just go around in one direction. With a nib, you have to go around one half and then the other way. At the time I was doing the Nightwing and the Deathstroke and all that stuff, my nibs were dying. My multi-liners were dying on me. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stop drawing today so I can wait to go to the store. I'm just going to use this nib. So I've decided that the Darksiders are definitely going to be Copics. I haven't decided on what the Battle Chasers piece is going to be. I don't know about that. I don't know yet. Don't know yet. You know, the problem is that's like I got the X-Men and I got the Final Fantasies to do first. So by then I may be completely tired with digital drawing. But then after I get done doing the Darksiders, I may be completely tired of doing Copics. And I may want to go back. I know that the Power Rangers has to be digital just by the sheer volume of shit that has to be in there. Crayons. Copics tend to look better when you can see the brush strokes. And with a lot of characters, there's not going to be a lot of room to do that. So I think if I did it as a digital piece, then later on I could go and do individual characters in Copic or watercolor, you know? That might be the smarter bet. Because I don't want to do another group shot later on that looks all perfectly clean and smooth. Because I did one that wasn't. Yeah, well. So I am, man. If I didn't think that way, this wouldn't look like this. This might look like just a head with a half body, like I did all the other ones. I just started being that guy who went on autopilot, you know? A lead heavy idea. That's funny. Yeah, no. No, it'll probably be digital. And then next year um, I'll probably do saucy individuals, like I'm doing this right here. Because you gotta remember the game's coming. They're not gonna have it out. The game ain't gonna come out next year. I don't care what anyone says. It's gonna take at least 2 years. So, what inspired me to draw so much detail with minor accessories? This really is just me doing what I do. If you really want to know, I have a mind for this. And half the stuff, like, I wore half this in the military, so I know what it feels like. Oh, yeah, I know those packs, LBEs and ammo packs and crap. I might invert it. I might do the Darkstalkers saucy, and then a digital piece with the Battle Chasers, and then next year do saucy Battle Chasers and a digital Darkstalkers piece. Or gritty pencils with digital coloring. Now what I might do. Hmm, that might look cool. Think about that. Mega potato. Ashley actually hit me up several months back. She heard me mention on another podcast and had questions about fan art and her original stuff, and so I've just been giving her, tips on how not to stress yourself out about that kind of stuff. And I've kept an eye on her art the last several months too, and I mean she's a workhorse, so I think she's got a future. So then I asked if she'd like to be on the podcast sometime, because I could use a new voice, someone that isn't, you know, Brandon. So remember, we have to all call him Mega Potato. That's that's the deal, folks. So, yeah, I get talked about. So whatever. Anyhow, wasn't a big deal. But I was like, hey, that's cool. No, 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 no. But yeah, she's talented. She's got a future. If she keeps applying herself, she'll get there. And she's a pretty down to earth person, so that helps. She's talented. I remember old Mega Potato was like, her art's not bad for her age. I'm like, not bad for her age, bro. You can't fucking draw like that. So bad for her age. He's like, why is it always gotta come back to? I'm like, cause you should hear the shit you say. That's why. She don't need my help, dude. Like you, on the other hand, Is he my apprentice? I don't know what he is. Yeah. Sometimes it feels more like Lex Luthor and Otis, you know? Otisburg? It's a small place, Mr. Luthor. Otisburg? I can't see if I say apprentice, that's assuming that we're assuming he's gonna learn anything, you know? And I cannot guarantee that will actually happen. So he's already on his last leg in terms of my help with his art. He's not allowed to do anything without my approval or input, any kind of art whatsoever moving forward. If I catch him, then he can be on the podcast, but he can't. We're done going to cons together or anything else because he has a lot of really bad habits. He just keeps falling back on. And he's like, well, this is uncomfortable to draw this way. I'm like, right, it's uncomfortable because you're doing it the right fucking way. So, I can't, I have to control the garbage in, you know? So we're going to do what I say you're going to do, and we're going to do it the way I want it done. Or you can, have a nice life. I don't care. But no, she's not an apprentice. I look at her work and I see, I wish someone of my age and my experience had stepped up and been like, Rob, dude, you got a future. Come over here, hang out. Don't kill yourself over some of this shit, So with her, I'm just trying to pay it forward. You know what I mean? Like, and whether she takes that advice or not, it's on her. But in terms of just talent, she doesn't need my help. She's doing that well enough on her own. I do see her take the long road sometimes on a project. I just tell her, I'm like, could have done it this way. She's like, oh. I'm like, but now you know, right? She's like, yeah. So, if more artists looked out for one another, this would be a more positive environment, right? That's what it comes down to. I hope Brandon sticks to it too. I think Brandon has got talent in him that he doesn't even know. Like his wife, she had talent with the 3D, but she didn't know she had the talent or where to place it. It's like she does what I tell her to do. And I always use her as an example. Hey, your wife seems to not have a fucking problem doing what I tell her to do. So what's your issue? Yeah. I mean, with construction, form, perspective, drawing three-dimensionally, Brandon doesn't do any of those things. Brandon does whatever Brandon does. He gets really hung up on people's art on small details. Like he called me once to let me know that I didn't draw the ear on an Attack on Titan properly. Meanwhile, I'm like, I used the wallpaper from their website for an example. Well, they don't have ears. I'm like, maybe you don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, I mean, I've never really looked, but I'm just saying, I use their shit for it. Well, they don't really have ears. So then he comes back and he's like, oh, actually, they have ears. Then he goes and draws this Attack on Titan piece, and he drew the girl, right, the sister with the black hair, and it looked like him in a wig, literally him in a wig. I'm like, hey, your drawing of her is fucking ugly. Like, it's you in a wig. Well, I mean, it's not the perfect. It's fucking horrible. It's somewhat disturbing. I mean, look, if you want to cosplay as her, that's your business. But I mean, there's an audience for that. But you know, he doesn't draw in an enjoyable, fun, energetic way. His construction is half-assed. His perspective is non-existent. He can see it. He can look, and that's what gives me hope, is that when he looks at people's art, he can see it. But then when he goes to do it himself, all that shit goes out the fucking window, you know? And he's just so proud of himself that he did anything. It's like he called me yesterday and was like, I want to draw a Batman. And I'm like, you want to draw a Batman? He's like, well, I want to draw and I'm just sitting here. I'm like, well, I'm busy right now. So you don't do anything until I can sit down and we can build out something for you. He's like, well, what do I do? I said, well, then take this Leonardo you drew and make a giant version of it because it's a little sketch cover. Do an 11 by 17. Go back over the lines, rebuild more construction, make sure it's drawn correctly, draw through, don't half-ass it. You know, I don't care that you want to draw now. Great, good for you. But all those weekends he was watching football, I'm like, you could have been drawing then too. So we don't do things when he wants to do them. He's just got a lot of juvenile habits. Like right now, he wanted to gang bust a bunch of art together, like right before con. Like con's coming up, and he's like, what about this? What about that? I said, we're not doing any of that shit, man. You're not ganging out a bunch of characters. You're not going to go down there and hustle a bunch of sketches. You're going to take commissions. You're going to have 5, 10 slots, tops. And you're going to do quality work, and that's it. You know? He's like that Ed Norton character on Rounders, who's always looking for an edge or a trick. Sounds like he doesn't practice. Oh, he practices, but he doesn't know, he just practices bad shit. And, he lives in a community of artists that all like tell each other how good they are. They're all like really proud of each other. Like when I first started going out there 5 years ago, I told him, I said, this is almost like high school where everyone's really impressed with each other and they have a really strong community out there in Phoenix of artists. So they're able to all go to these stores and sell stuff. And so they think, like they're hot shit, but they really can't do jack squat. And he's like, well, I sell pretty good out here. I'm like, at some point you won't. It's a kind of a small pond, Brandon. So after, you make the rounds and people stop buying things because of your friends and shit, it will stop and no one will buy anything. And sure enough, it happened one day. He's like, I don't get what's happening. I'm like, your fucking art is horrible. You've never actually learned how to do anything. Well, I know perspective. Really? Draw me a box. Rotate the box. You don't know perspective. You know of this thing called perspective. Big difference. But he does what I tell him to sometimes. It's just creatively I have to take the creative side away from him right now and teach him the technical side. I can't fully blame him because the way art's taught in the United States is fucking horrible. You go right into an art class and they sit you down and got you drawing outlines of things and shading things and closing your eyes and listening to music. I mean, that ain't how you learn how to fucking draw, you know? Like, that's nonsense. It was nonsense when I was in high school. It's nonsense now. So, so I am very harsh with him in the same way that a sensei would be very harsh with their student, you know? For the people peering into the dojo, it's fun, right? It's like, hey, it's a good time. I'm nice to everybody, But if I do accept you as a disciple, it's going to be hell on earth. I explained to him. I'm like, look, I'm not Ben Kenobi. Ben Kenobi was not a Jedi Master to Luke Skywalker. He was like Uncle Ben. He was Uncle Ben Kenobi. He was, teaching him how to do. This is cool. Here's some advice. Yoda lets Luke go out and get his hand cut off. Yoda sends Luke into a cave, and let him decapitate himself in weird mystical visions. So like that's how it is here. And I have gone to cons and I let him do what he's gonna do. I'm like, watch what happens. You're gonna sell nothing. He's like, oh no, man, you're gonna see. And then nothing sells. And then he gives up. He's like, well, all right, I'm like, so at this point, we're on zero tolerance with him. He does what I tell him to do, or I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. My art ain't getting worse. Boom! No mercy. Copic Kai. Instead of Cobra Kai, will be Copic Kai. I wouldn't beat Brandon with a stick. I don't believe in physically hitting people, so I wouldn't not whiplash wouldn't be quite it. I also at this point know what I can expect from him. I can't expect him to draw well right now. So, I'm giving him I set up the drawings at this point. It's called breakdowns. Liefeld used to do this with like Merritt Michaels and Dan Fraga. They do the breakdowns and then they come in and clean up the art. So that's how it goes. I start it off, he cleans it up until he starts learning how to draw right and correctly, you know. And it's already worked. I mean, we've seen a benefit. I've seen it already in just one or two drawings work out. But, he took like a month to do the Leo. So I'm like, we can't take 1 month to do a sketch cover. You got to be doing sketch covers like 2 a week, you know? He just, again, it's just, I got to break him of all these high school juvenile habits. They get so proud of themselves. Look, I drew something. Oh my God, it's amazing. Please, worship me. Tell me how great I am. But he's not a bad person though. He's a good person, you know. And I can't expect everyone to know how to direct themselves, you know. So yeah, I'm done now, man. I'm gonna go make some dinner and then get back to work on Game Cave. So this is done. Hair will be painted in. We don't ink that. So do I have my test? I did a test the other night. The real-time videos are up, but you can sort of see the test. See, we'll paint the hair in. Be back on in a few. Working on that damn world map. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Really appreciate it. Keep me company.